My name is Tanya Cervantes, and the title of my capstone research project was ESL Strategies for the General Education Teacher. The topic chosen for this proposed capstone research was ESL Instructional Strategies for the General Education Teacher. This topic seemed appropriate for my research because most of the teachers in my school district are not ESL teachers. And with the growing number of English learners coming to our district, I felt it was important to conduct research on the experience and knowledge these teachers have on teaching English learners. It is crucial that our teachers be adequately prepared to teach the rapidly increasing ELs in our district. Within our school district, teachers do not have the adequate knowledge and skills to implement ESL instructional strategies when teaching ELs because they haven't been to any professional development opportunities offered on ESL topics. For this reason, teachers are not able to effectively teach EL students and provide the adequate support that they need. By offering professional development for teachers to learn about ESL instructional strategies, teachers would be adequately prepared to teach and support the EL students in our school district. The research question devised for this capstone project was, how might a professional development program be developed in order to support and prepare general education teachers to implement research and evidence-based ESL instructional strategies when working with English learners? The product created from the study was a 4-hour self-paced professional development program that presented 10 research and evidence-based ESL instructional strategies that all teachers can readily implement in the classroom. It was a slide presentation where teachers learned one strategy at a time and used a note catcher Google Doc to record their prior knowledge before each strategy and then reflected on their learnings and how each strategy's implementation could potentially look in their own classroom. This image shows the note catcher document that teachers use to write anything they know about each strategy before they dove into the learning material, and after learning about it, where they would reflect on their learnings and how each strategy could potentially look in their particular classroom, grade level, or content area. These are the first 4 slides of the program, depicting the title along with an overview. ESL Strategies for the General Education Teacher, an easy-to-follow, self-paced professional development program with 10 research and evidence-based ESL instructional strategies ready to implement in the classroom. The next slide states the objectives, which are, number 1, understand the unique needs of EL students. Number 2, adopt an asset-based mindset when teaching EL students. Number 3, recognize the importance of making learning meaningful for ELs. Number 4, learn practical and easy to implement ESL instructional strategies. And number 5, be ready to apply these ESL instructional strategies into their educational practice. The other 2 slides on the right show the table of contents where the note catcher was linked, as well as each strategy for if teachers wanted to jump quickly to a particular one. The first strategy introduced is build relationships. Take a moment to write in your note catcher what you know about this strategy. A successful classroom is one where students feel known, appreciated, and comfortable enough to take emotional and intellectual risks. Kaplan 2019. Encourage your students to embrace their culture and language as an innate part of their identity. You can do this by allowing students to express their ideas in their native language, showcasing students' cultures in the learning environment, flags, classroom signs in both languages, making an effort to pronounce their names correctly, and ensuring your classroom library is reflective of your students' backgrounds and identities. Make yourself available to your students. Make a point to greet students individually as they come in. Take time at least once a week to check in with them on how they're doing overall. Find out their cultural views on education to have clear guidance on home and family expectations on school. The next slide shows a video from Edutopia where teachers can see this strategy in action, and then afterwards they reflect in the note catcher what they learned and how it could look in their classroom. The second strategy presented is create community. Again, teachers write in their note catcher. And the slide reads, regular, open, and friendly communication between all stakeholders is vital in ensuring students' success. Establish regular communication between home and school. Send notices in home language and through different modes like a letter, email, text, phone call, etc. Ensure that families feel welcome when they come to the school and encourage them to volunteer or attend special events. Confirm that families and students are aware of all the staff that is available at the school to support them: the counselor, the social worker, the nurse, family resource coordinator, etc. And also find out special skills and knowledge that family members possess that they could possibly share with the rest of the class. And use community resources. Find community organizations that can provide a variety of resources for both caregivers and students. Include community experiences as much as you can, like field trips, community partnerships, etc. The next slide asks teachers to once again watch a video and then reflect on what they learned and how it could look in their classroom. The third strategy taught is teach language all the time. Teachers must understand that they play the role of language teachers all the time, teaching the language of the particular subject they are teaching at that moment. Establish language objectives along with content objectives. Use the WIDA can-do descriptors, which are linked in the slide, as a guide to create language objectives that meet the level and the demands of your EL students. Explicitly teach and model the language and vocabulary students are expected to use. Implement all of the 4 language domains in your students' language demands. And one way to do this is by using the SWIRL acronym, which means speak, write, interact, read, and listen. The following slide asks teachers to view a video on how to read the WIDA can-do descriptors and how you can create language objectives based on these. Strategy number 4 is use comprehensible input. Comprehensible input in simple terms means speaking in such a way that students are able to understand what is being said, even when they do not know or understand all of the words that are being used. This is by Garcia in 2021. First thing you can do for comprehensible input is slow down your rate of speech and enunciate correctly or clearly. As EL students listen, they are also working to process what is being said and how it connects to what they already know. When you speak, EL students are translanguaging and making sense of your academic language. Enunciating initial and ending sounds can make a big difference in EL's language development and understanding. Avoid figurative language and idioms. EL students will produce the literal translation of everything that you say. For example, if you say, I am in a pickle, to an EL, that would mean that you are literally inside a pickle versus having a problem. And lastly, gestures, facial expressions, and hand movements. Strategies like total physical response, TPR, are crucial in helping ELs make meaning of all the unknown words. And the last slide just asks teachers to view the video on comprehensible input and then reflect on what they learned and how it could look in their classroom. The fifth strategy presented is apply wait time. Wait time offers all students time to think, but for English learners, it is crucial, as this is when the magic of translanguaging occurs. So translanguaging means basically how ELs process English when they hear it. So they translate it. They translate your words into their native language, process their meaning, then develop a response in their native language. Then they have to translate it back into English, and then they have to find the courage to actually respond to what you ask them. So things that you can do to apply wait time: increase your wait time before asking students to respond to questions. Research has shown that most teachers typically give 1 to 2 seconds before questions and expecting a student response. However, it has been proven that waiting 3 to 5 seconds improves the quality of responses astronomically. Record yourself speaking in class to measure your cadence and adjust accordingly. As you speak, EL students are working double to translanguage and make sense of your academic language, hence allowing that extra time for them to process their thinking, translate it back to English, and develop the courage to answer is imperative in the EL classrooms. And of course, there's a video that teachers can watch on how teachers apply wait time, and then teachers reflect and think of how it would look in their classroom. Strategy 6 is about incorporating sentence stems. We must remember that our students are in the process of learning a new language and are not in the process of learning a language. Therefore, we can provide the words and the grammatical structures of the new language to help guide them in speaking and writing. Danita Harris from Ferlazzo 2021. Sentence stems are crucial for developing the productive skills of speaking and writing. Ways that we can provide these are providing a framework to communicate through both oral and written language. They help build student self-efficacy and sense of belonging to the classroom community, and sentence stems can be used in their literal form of stems, and additionally in the form of word banks, word phrases, or pictures. The next slide is the video where they can see a teacher or various teachers incorporating sentence stems, and then they reflect on how it could look in their classrooms. Strategy 7 discusses implementing visual aids. Teachers can work creatively to help build content knowledge along with language development in order to increase comprehension of the material. Robertson, 2009. Visual aids help EL students make tangible connections between what they know and what they are learning. Graphic organizers are the perfect way to teach this, and they can come in the form of KWL charts, T-charts, Venn diagrams, cognate charts, word webs, word walls, picture dictionaries, story maps, sentence stems, as stated before, diagrams, flashcards, 2 and 3 column notes, outlines, and sorts, and I'm sure many, many more. The following slide asks teachers to view a video on how teachers use visual aids and what they learned about them and how they would look in their classroom. Strategy 8 is about scaffolding peer collaboration. Peer collaboration, when implemented correctly, is a powerful tool for authentic student learning from each other that results in students' increase in critical thinking skills, level of confidence, and self-esteem. Peer collaboration can be implemented in the classroom in various formats. First, purposefully select math or reading partners, a stronger student with a student in need of more support. That way, the stronger one can help the one that needs the extra support. Establishing roles within small groups is always very beneficial if you do it based on students' interests and strengths. For example, if a student likes to talk, you can assign them the reporter. If a student prefers to draw, they can be the illustrator. If a person, one of the students is stronger in tech, then maybe they can write the reports using the computer, etc. And also structuring partner and group work through different collaboration types. You can have different group activities like Socratic seminars, philosophical chairs, double circle, jigsaw, and a talking piece. Those are all different strategies of peer collaboration. The next slide asks teachers to view a video about how other teachers get their students to talk academically using these different peer collaboration techniques, and then they reflect and they write how it could look in their classroom. Slide 9 discusses reaching multiple modalities. When students engage with content in multiple formats that demand the use of the 4 language domains, authentic, deep, and conceptualized learning is achieved. Multiple modalities can be reached through realia, that is bringing real objects to conceptualize understanding, interactive read-alouds, videos, songs, visual aids, such as charts, diagrams, etc., and anchor charts. That way you are reaching the audio learner, the visual learner, the kinesthetic learner. So having all these multiple modalities really help the students. And slide 9 again, teachers view the video and then they would reflect on how it would look in their classroom. The last strategy presented is about integrating technology. We do live in a technology-driven world. So the slide reads, in today's technology-driven world, it is imperative that educators integrate these tools to bridge communication and learning barriers in EL classrooms. These are just some of the many ways to integrate technology. Of course, the number one being translating apps. Example, Google Translate. You can speak into it and it can speak back into the student's native language and vice versa. Educational apps and software programs like Mayan, SuccessMaker, Imagine Learning, Kids A to Z, Class Hero, Rosetta Stone, Achieve 3000, etc. There's a whole plethora of them out there. And depending on your district and the amount of resources that you have, you would choose which one would be best for you. Programs that have differentiation capabilities are also very beneficial. For example, translations and/or content available in both native language and English, built-in diagnostic tools to assess students' abilities, which in turn become adaptive to provide instruction to the students that is tailored to their individual levels. Apps, programs, and extensions that allow EL students to show their understanding in multiple ways. So letting them show their understanding via video, audio, presentation, etc., using apps like Flip, Kami, Mote, etc. The last slide for strategy 10 gives actually two options that teachers can use. The first one is a short article on 10 tech tools for engaging your ELs. It's very, very useful because it contains a lot of them and tutorials on how to use them. And the last one is a podcast, which shows 5 new tech tools that teachers can try to help their ELs. The wrap-up slide asks teachers to watch the following video from Edutopia, and it really helps wrap up this session's message regarding things that we can do, maybe little or take a little extra effort that will really, really help our EL and newcomer students feel welcome so that it is a positive learning experience. And the closing slide reads that although basic conversational fluency typically occurs in 1 to 2 years, research has shown again and again that it takes English language learners at least 5 to 7 years to achieve English language proficiency. Additionally, EL students' native language and English skills have been proven to be interdependent, demonstrating how the development of their literacy skills in one language strongly predicts their corresponding skills in a second language. Research by Cummins in 1981. As educators, it is our ethical responsibility to recognize that ELs have knowledge and skills. They just have them in another language. We must be culturally responsive, incorporating EL's native language and culture. ELs need ample time and explicit modeling and practice in the 4 language domains. And there is a plethora of innovative ways to help us help our EL students. We just have to get out there and look for them. The method used for this proposed capstone research was a quantitative survey. The quantitative method was used because it was in a format that would be easily and readily available to the participants, as it was emailed. The data collection was also anonymous and immediate, which allowed for an immediate and valid analysis of participants' thoughts and dispositions on the survey questions that were asked. This is the Google Forms survey that was used to conduct the research. Question 1 asks, what's your level of experience teaching English learner students? Question 2 asked, how familiar are you with ESL instructional strategies? Question 3 asked, have you ever attended professional learning either through your district or on your own about ELs/ESL instructional strategies? Question 4 asked, how important do you think it is for general education teachers to learn about ESL instructional strategies? And question 5 asked, if granted the opportunity, how interested would you be in a professional learning opportunity about ESL instructional strategies? This survey used a Likert scale, so the responses ranged from very unfamiliar or not important at all, or never, to a lot of experience or very interested. The data analysis technique that was used for this research was descriptive data analysis. This technique allowed the collection data to easily display the percentages for each survey question, and that allowed for a clear interpretation and analysis of the data. For the first question asking about teachers' level of experience teaching ELs, 53% of the teachers surveyed had very little or no experience teaching ELs. Additionally, 13.3% had only some experience, with a total of almost 67% of surveyed teachers not having enough experience teaching ELs. For question 2, that asked how familiar teachers were with ESL instructional strategies, 53.3% of surveyed teachers stated that they were very unfamiliar with ESL strategies, and 46.7% were only somewhat familiar with ESL strategies. This meaning that 100% of teachers surveyed are not familiar with ESL instructional strategies. Question 3 asks teachers if they'd ever attended professional learning on ESL and/or ESL instructional strategies, be it through their district or on their own. Over 73% of teachers surveyed stated that they had rarely or never attended any ESL professional development, while the remaining 26.7% had only sometimes attended. Question 4 asked teachers their thoughts regarding how important they thought it was for general education teachers to learn about ESL instructional strategies. 73.3% of surveyed teachers felt it was very important to learn about ESL instructional strategies, while the remaining 26.7% felt it was important. This showed that 100% of teachers surveyed felt that it was important for teachers to learn about ESL instructional strategies. The last question of the survey asked teachers if they were granted the opportunity, how interested would they be in professional learning opportunities about ESL instructional strategies. 80% of the teachers surveyed stated they would be very interested in ESL professional development. 13.3% of the surveyed teachers stated they would be somewhat interested, and only 6.7%, one teacher out of the 15, claimed to have a neutral opinion. The results of the data collected demonstrated a high interest level from general education teachers in professional learning opportunities on ESL instructional strategies, with 80% stating being interested or very interested in this type of professional development. Additionally, 73% of surveyed teachers shared that they'd never or rarely attended professional development on ESL or ESL strategies, proving the need for ESL professional development opportunities in our district. The conclusions of the study were that the research accurately confirmed that teachers in the district lack the adequate skills required to teach the increasing number of ELs in their classrooms, and that most general education teachers have little to no experience teaching ELs and also have not received or attended professional development on ELs and/or ESL instructional strategies. Strengths and weaknesses of the study. One strength of the study is that it was conducted through an anonymous survey. Teachers were free to share their opinions and feelings with complete honesty, without worrying about being judged or reprimanded for their responses. Another strength was that it provided multiple options for each response, which allowed a clear measure of the degree of their responses. Additionally, teachers were given ample time to complete the survey, keeping in mind their busy schedules. A weakness of this study was that the amount of general teaching experience of the teachers surveyed was not asked, so the number of years in teaching of participants is unknown. Another weakness of the research methodology is that it didn't include qualitative data regarding the reasons and the factors behind participants' responses. An example of this would be that even though most teachers surveyed stated that they had never or rarely attended ESL-related professional development, the reasons for this weren't provided. So it could have been that they may not have received the option to attend, or maybe they were offered the option, but they refused it. Influential factors. A factor that may have affected the results was time constraints. Teachers were only given 5 work week days to complete the survey. And as we all know, educators have very busy schedules most of the time. A reminder email had to be sent out on the 4th day because 2 of the teachers had yet to complete the survey. Teachers' lack of time due to busy schedules and a number of other obligations could have influenced the survey results if the survey was completed in haste and or without much thought put into the process or into the responses. Areas open for further investigation. One area that would be open for further investigation would be to conduct this study with all the teachers in my district, not only the teachers in my school. English learners are in all of the classrooms throughout the district schools. By having a broader and larger range of data, a more accurate assessment could be made regarding teachers' knowledge and skills of ESL strategies and the level of interest in this type of professional learning. And that is the end of my capstone presentation. Thank you very much. Again, my name is Tanya Cervantes.